Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. The title of the journal is Assessing Online Teaching and Learning Service Quality During COVID-19 Pandemic Using TQM. For the introduction, the implementation of online teaching and learning are quite new in Malaysia. This method of learning had been applied during pandemic COVID-19. The introduction of the same requirement or the specification for online teaching and learning needed as same applied in face-to-face learning and give a good impact to the institute and the student itself. Thus, this research is conducted to study on assessing the online teaching and learning delivery. To assess the online teaching and learning delivery, this research was conducted by implementing TQM variable. Moving on to the problem statement, all education institutes had continued their teaching and learning session through online learning and operate fully on the work from home basis. However, the university students may face some difficulty in adapting the new method of teaching and learning. This method will lead to some problems which are risk of loss of student trust and the student dissatisfaction. The educational institute will lose the trust if their performance is not the equal like having the direct learning. There are some parents believe that online education may not have the same consistent as the face-to-face education. That show the lack of trust given by the parent. The main concern of the educational institute is about students and their satisfaction. That is a crucial factor in the institution's success or failure, and its operation by depending on the service that students receive. The student dissatisfaction will lead to the bad image and reputation to the institute. Therefore, in this research, the researcher focused on assessing to the online teaching and learning delivery by using several concepts in TQM. The researcher want to find out whether the online teaching and learning delivery can be certified the student or not. By using the TQM implementation in evaluating the student satisfaction, the researcher will study and understand their relationship on the online teaching and learning delivery. Next, for the literature review, the COVID-19 outbreak has spread worldwide and almost all countries and regions are affected where the first coronavirus disease be identified in Wuhan, China. Therefore, WHO had declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic. COVID-19 has impacted industry including higher education and also be a huge challenge to education system. The government have ordered institutions to stop their face-to-face learning and requiring them to switch to online mode as step to reduce the potential of spreading the virus. A virtual classroom is considered a learning environment rather than going to a physical classroom, where the teacher and the student exchange knowledge of life by connecting to the internet connection. The COVID-19 somehow give the positive impact to the student. This have give the student opportunity to get to know the digital learning better. TQM is a continuous effort on the part of management as well as employee of a specific company to ensure customer loyalty and customer satisfaction. There are several factors that can be used to measure the student satisfaction on online teaching and learning delivery. There are factors that give an impact to the student satisfaction with the learning in the online environment, which a student facility, e-learning resources, and e-classroom resources. Moving on to the research methodology, for the conceptual framework, this study applied quantitative method to analyze the TQM variable to predict the student satisfaction toward online teaching and learning delivery for final year students at UniKL MITEC. From the previous study, the following conceptual framework and hypothesis is developed. There are 5 variables that identified in this research. The researcher has developed a model that shown in this figure. The model shows a link between the 5 TQM variables. C1 commitment of management, C2 cost delivery, C3 campus facility, C4 courtesy, and C5 is the customer feedback and improvement, with the link of student satisfaction on online teaching and learning. There are three main parts in the questionnaire. The indicator to construct the question in the questionnaire is adapted, redesigned, and slightly modified from the previous research based on the theory that is suitable with this research. For the section A, it will be a simple demographic information. For the section B and C were based on the previous research by author research questionnaire. This study used Likert scale from 1 to 5 to indicate respondent agreement level for part B and C. In this research, two main operational variables were developed, which are TQM variables and student satisfaction. For TQM variable, the measurement of TQM variable in this research is adapted based on the 5 variable dimension of TQM implementation. In total, this dimension consists of 30 self-rating items. The measurement of the student satisfaction in this research is adapted, redesigned, and slightly modified. There are 7 self-rating items in the student satisfaction dimension, consist of overall satisfaction on TQM implementation of online teaching and learning. Moving on to the result and discussion, the researcher do the pilot test. There are 32 sets of questionnaire had been distributed and answered by random respondents for the pilot test. The reliability tests were done and the comma alpha score were calculated. Based on the table, we can see the strengths are in a good and excellent result, which means all the constructive question is acceptable. This is a descriptive analysis on TQM implementation variables of commitment of management. Based on the table, the highest mean of commitment of management in TQM variable are from C14, which many agree that the university committed in improving its position in the university ranking. Meanwhile, C12 hold the lowest mean value and C11 hold the second lowest mean value, where the respondent moderate or agree that the university still provide beneficial opportunity for the student and measurement is operative when there are any issue regarding of online learning and delivery. That show the student aware with the commitment of management to improve the university ranking that can help interact and employ the finest academic. However, they do not fully agree that the management is committed in providing the beneficial opportunity and be cooperative in online learning and delivery issue. They might be unsatisfied with the beneficial opportunity and cooperative that given by management during online teaching and learning delivery. Next, for the descriptive analysis of course delivery, from the table, the researcher find that the highest mean in course delivery comes from question C24, where the question states that the lecturer is well prepared and well organized for the lecture. Meanwhile, C22 hold the lowest mean value, where many respondents disagree that the lecturer teaching methods are more effective during online learning. This method shows that the students do not have any problem with the lecturer commitment in delivery their lecture, where they really well prepared and well organized. However, the teaching method not effective during online learning. The student might be getting boring or less focused during the online learning compared to the direct learning. Then, for the campus facility, based on the table, the highest mean of the campus facility in the TQM variable are recorded from question C35. With the question of Microsoft Teams is easily accessible and easy to use as an online medium. This shows that the Microsoft Teams is a good selection of the online medium. Meanwhile, C33 hold the lowest mean, where most respondents either agree and did not agree on the course material or reference are sufficient and available digitally in library website. It may happen either that the student do not know about the UniKL library on the website, or they do not browse the website well, because UniKL library website actually already provide many resources that including e-magazine, e-journal and e-book. Next, for the courtesy, From the table that we construct a set of mean data from the respondent answer, the researcher conclude that the highest mean in the courtesy of TQM variable come from question C44. The question states that the lecturer treats student with respect. Meanwhile, C46 holds the lowest mean value, where most of respondents disagree that the student feel comfortable and safe sharing their problem to lecturer. The results show the students agree that the lecturer have courtesy toward them. However, the students either agree or do not agree to share their problem to the lecturer. This may happen due to the student's lack of openness in sharing their problem with the lecturer. They may feel their problem with online teaching cannot help by the lecturer. Lastly, descriptive analysis on TQM implementation variable on customer feedback and improvement. From the table, the researcher conclude that the highest mean in a customer feedback and improvement come from question C56, where many of respondents agree that students evaluate the lecturer fairly. Meanwhile, the lowest mean value is the question C54, where there are less respondents agree on the lecturer give the positive feedback on submitted the work online. The results show that the student responded survey evaluation sincerely and serious in evaluate their lecture based on the lecture performance in deliver the lecture. However, less of students agree with the positive feedback given by the lecturer and submitted more work online. It may be due to the plagiarism issue, which are usually done by students by taking Google sentences in their assignment, especially during online teaching and learning. Then, this table shows the overall TKM implementation. Based on this table, respondents had higher level of TQM implementation with a mean value of 3.74. This indicates that the TQM implementation by university was accepted by the student with the high level of implementation. Here is a descriptive analysis on student satisfaction. Based on the table, the highest mean across student satisfaction section is recorded from question D7, which question of UniKL MITEC provide a high quality online teaching and learning delivery in overall. Meanwhile, D1 hold the lowest mean value, where most of respondents did not agree on the question about their satisfaction with the institute online teaching and learning delivery in general. This result indicate that even though the university able to give the high quality online teaching and learning, but their service not able to fulfill the student satisfaction on online teaching and learning delivery. Moving on to the conclusion and recommendation. The purpose of this researcher is about the prediction of TQM implementation variable towards student satisfaction on online teaching and learning. The major conclusion to this research was that the commitment of management, careful facility, and customer feedback and improvement variable of TQM implementation is more acceptable for students. The TQM variable of commitment of management, cost delivery, courtesy, and customer feedback improvement can predict the student satisfaction. The research like to emphasize that the cost delivery and courtesy need to be improved and be aligned with the student satisfaction, since these two variables give the most impact towards student satisfaction. This is because the cost delivery is the input that university give for the student, while the courtesy is the service that the management or lecturer able to help the student on online teaching and learning delivery. Next, the limitation of this study lead to the recommendation for the future researcher. Almost every research regarding the topic use quantitative method design. The researcher suggesting to use another research approach in the future. In order to establish more plausible view, future research would need to follow additional elements in the TQM implementation model. Last but not least, future researchers should implement different sample size, especially age group and location factor. It could help in getting other point of view from students in assessing online teaching and learning delivery by integrate the TQM implementation. That's all from me. Thank you for everyone who involved in this research project.